All right, good afternoon. My name is Sean McGuire, and I'm the Executive Director of the Albany County Land Bank. It is 3:05 p.m. on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. We are calling to order a meeting of the Land Bank's Acquisition and Disposition Committee. We're holding this meeting remotely per New York State Open Meetings Law. The meeting is available on the Land Bank's YouTube channel for listening and viewing. Today, participating on the call from the committee, we have the following board members: Charles Toohey, Natisha Alexander, and Sam Wells. Joe Seaman-Graves is absent. From the Land Bank, the staff team we have joining us are Shelby, Lynette, and Susan. The agenda was circulated to the committee ahead of time, has a number of items on it. The first is the review and approval of the minutes of April 9th. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review them. Are there any questions, suggestions, or amendments to the minutes as presented? And if not, can I have a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Natisha, and a second from Sam. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Hearing none, that will carry. All right. We'll go right into new acquisitions. On item number 3, 9 Cleveland Street. And I see this on your slide deck here. We were contacted by a property owner who is interested in donating this lot on Cleveland Street, which is up off of Manning Boulevard in Albany in 12206. Lynette, do you want to give anything on that Cleveland Street lot?
No, just that I guess the owner had passed away and his wife wanted to donate it as in honor of her husband. So they're really eager to, for us to be able to, do something with that property that'll help improve the neighborhood or the community.
Yeah, they had owned this house they had this property hoping to build on a house on it years ago, but they got busy. They relocated to California. They had family that also moved to California, so they just thought it would just be the best option would be to donate it to us. So we would recommend accepting that donation of 9 Cleveland Street.
It was very interesting to read the narrative. You've got this form, the disposition form, the donation form. But I want to point out that it's a 30 by 125-foot lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
On a beautiful street, right? And we could put our two-family house on a 30-foot lot, but the house is 24 feet wide.
Yeah.
So that's a family house. Bank this lot, and we could really sell it in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we'll be
I
able
think
to
that's
take that. And
I think that's a great idea, Charlie.
What?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we just have to be aware. It's all about frontage. If we get these lots, that's why we have the tiny house, the 14-foot single, and then as soon as it gets to be 30, we can automatically do a two-family and then roll it into whatever grant we're asking for from the state, now that they're developing a block-by-block thing for us. But this is definitely a buildable lot and definitely could be two-family as long as the zoning's okay, and it would be fantastic for somebody to live there.
Sure thing. All right, we'll move that up to the board for next week's meeting. Next, we have a disposition at 256 2nd Avenue in Albany. Getting to my notes here. So 256 2nd Ave in Albany, it's a vacant lot. We have an applicant who has applied. We have an offer amount of $600. They intend to use it as a garden. So this was the applicant that came to us last month for 311 First Street, but we decided not to advance that property along because we had a potential enforcement acquisition at the adjacent property. And so her plan remains the same: create and maintain a personal garden funded through her own income. Long term, she'd like to name it in honor of her godmother, and she's aware of the zoning approvals, including sprinkler service and snow removal, and any plan submissions. And so, we recommend conditional approval provided the applicant can demonstrate that the proposed use is an allowed use.
Dimensions of the lot. It's not on here.
Let me get that for you. Give the dimension for the lot. Yeah, Shelby's gonna get that dimension for us.
It looks buildable to me.
While Shelby pulls that up, do you mind if I just move us down to old business, a couple of updates?
Sure, but as a procedural thing, you should always have the building dimensions on disposition parcels. Always put the dimensions on the form for the future.
Sean, are we gonna go over the South Pro property?
Yeah,
The
It's not on the
523?
matrix, but I have it, it's in the slide deck.
Yeah, good.
Well, yeah, because these are just updates on those, on 523.
Okay.
All right. Shelby just grabbing that dimension for us.
Parcel length 120 with 25.
25 by 120.
All you could put is a one-family house on there.
Yep. Yep, and that's a predominantly 256, getting up that high. It's predominantly two-family houses in that, so it's a little smaller than that, but.
But I'm just raising the issue of, I know we want to get properties off our books, but if we have an eminently buildable lot in a buildable neighborhood, why wouldn't we bank it rather than give it to someone for a garden? Just throwing this out here. We're really in the business, not the vacant lot business.
Right. I think this speaks to why in the governance committee we're going to talk about how our committees are organized so that we have more informed discussions on these issues.
Sorry,
Yes.
correction. It's 25 by 100.
25 by 100, but it's 25 wide across the front. Yeah.
But we have a few board members here right now. What are people's opinions about this lot?
I mean, I'm okay with moving forward with the sale for this one. I hear you, Charlie. I agree it's a buildable lot. But if we don't have the capacity or aren't ready to act on it in the next year or two, and we don't have it planned for, right? We don't have anything planned for that lot for the next year or two. I don't want to take away an opportunity from a resident to do something else with it. We can always come back and say, hey, we sold it to you for 600. How about we offer you $2,000, right? And we build that into our pro forma when we do place a home on that lot, right? Especially because it's only a garden.
Yeah, I love that rationale. We did discuss this procedure before, and that makes sense. Because if we're selling the lot to an adjoiner, we could always go back to them and say, how would you like to have a house? And they could say yes or no. Because the fact that we're selling it today doesn't preclude the possibility of when we finally get some money for that neighborhood to do new housing. So I agree with you, Sam. That's what we should do.
Yeah, and it's only a garden, so nothing major is happening there that we can't change if we get that money in the future. The city, we're often in that position as a city too. We have the city of Albany owns a number of lots that it should probably list for sale, and whenever people apply for them on their own, sometimes we have some folks saying, well, we should package these together and sell them to a developer, and which is a good idea, but do we have the staff and the capacity and the drive to do that right now? No. Okay, well, when are we going to have that? And if the answer isn't within the next year or two, then there's no point in depriving one of our residents of doing what they want with it, right?
Right, that's right. And I agree with the philosophy, and really what we're about here is that, there's one side that says de-densify, right, to have more green space in the neighborhood. That's one way to look at it. But then the other way is that the neighbor is now in control of this lot. And so if they want to just keep it a garden, that's great. But if they wanted to put a house there and, build a house for their relative, that's an option, which, by the way, increases the value of their existing house when you put a new house next to it. So there are arguments that we can go back to these people that we dispose these lots of to see if they'd like to do that. So I'm answering my own question, and you're answering it too, that we don't have immediate use for it, but just because we're selling it to an adjoiner and not an investor, we can always come back to them.
Yep, exactly. Natisha, were you going to say something? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I actually wholeheartedly agree. I was going to agree with Charlie, and I think that I brought this up maybe a month or two ago when we were talking about another lot. And that I think that we should be building more than, allowing gardens. So, and then you just elaborated, Sam. So I 100% agree.
Right.
Well, Shelby wanted to add something, and then I have a thought. Shelby, is that okay?
Yeah, I also spoke to the applicant, and at the moment, she does want to start off as a garden in celebration and also like solidarity of her godmother, but she does plan in the future, which she's in conversations with the city at the moment, and we've kind of been like CC'd in that conversation. And obviously when this does happen, she'll come back to the board. But she does plan on doing something with the community, like a community gathering, private space as well.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that,
all
I
about,
just wanted to mention that as well.
that's wonderful, Shelby, because it's about rebuilding the fabric of the neighborhood, where people have creative uses for the pieces of land. So that's great that you've developed that sort of paragraph on the buyer. Keep it in the file for when we circle back around in a year or two.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, and this is, I guess, the other point was when I first got here, is one of the questions I had for Amanda and Erica about, some of the decisions that we made to sell lots like this, and it's, this one's outside of our focus area right now. We're doing the clusters with the flip the block, and even with the block by block program, they're looking for a clustering within a neighborhood. So it'll be good for us to take a look at those properties the county's holding on to, good chance to look at our inventory again, map things out, and identify, potential future clusters that might fall outside of where we're currently working in the South End and West Hill.
Exactly.
Right, but in the meantime, we are giving somebody an opportunity to build equity through, through property.
Yep, great, let's go.
All right. 523 South Pearl Street. Okay, we'll go to old business. That sounds like we're all good now. 523 South Pearl Street. That's the parcel in front of Cherry Hill. So you'll have that on your slide deck. We had somebody come in. So, Susan, do you have the notes on that, or do you want me to?
No, I do not.
So, 523. So Cherry Hill seems to be interested in this property again, and is willing to pay the back taxes that caused them to lose the property, and we're going to come up with a value for what it took for us to hold and maintain it. So they're not getting they're sort of making everybody whole again to acquire this property. So they are interested in getting it back in. So that's progressing pretty well. Just wanted to give you an update on that, and just if you had any questions you wanted us to bring forward or any concerns about that approach.
No, this came up more than a month ago, and the elements are there. Their back taxes are to hold it. They're in the same position. They really would want this piece of land, and it's moving in the right direction, and hopefully it'll be resolved by next month or the month after.
All right.
Yeah, my only note
And
on
then
that one, Sean, is it looks like I'm looking at the tax map. We also own 557 South Pearl, 2 lots over. Are they interested in that one as well? Was that the same situation, or is that something entirely different? Do you know?
I'll have to go back and take a look at that. That might be a similar situation, but yeah,
Okay.
we do have the other ones in the area. I think this one is a lot closer to them, but I think it was just one that they lost along the way. We probably should make them merge it with a larger property if we can get away with that. I
Yep.
think that's always been our approach, is that we've got smaller lots adjacent to a neighboring property owner, especially when it comes to something like Cherry Hill. so that it doesn't happen again, we get it as part of the overall parcel.
Yep, I agree with that. And you know, my only suggestion was if we do own 557, like I think we do, should you know, just talk to them about that lot. Seems like it's you know, practically speaking, you know, pretty much part of that property. So don't see why we couldn't get rid of two, you know, instead of just one. But we'll see what we're able to do. So this is awesome.
Yeah, just give me 1 second because I just want to grab one of the other staff for the last item here. Hold on one moment. All right, sorry. Those three properties, those are the ones where we had not taken any action on it. We just haven't gotten any more information from the applicant about their intended use there. So that one will probably just end up being a dead file unless they come back in the next month or so. So just wanted to give you an update on that.
What three properties are you talking about?
585 3rd Avenue, 540 Clinton Avenue, and 23 Babcock Street. So it's on the matrix. This is an update from a prior, just to let you know what was happening with a property you saw at a prior meeting that we did not take action on, but we sent back.
Properties on the matrix.
So it's not on the matrix. It was just, today when I sent out the email, it was on the updated agenda, because we just wanted to give you guys an update since we
That's my fault for
updated.
the agenda. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yep. So that's it for the A&D committee.
Awesome.
I think just so the A&D committee is aware, when the governance committee meets today, one of the things that I want to discuss when we talk about committee structure is taking acquisition, disposition, enforcement, compliance, and then the real estate committee that's never actually met, and bringing them together for just a single real estate committee to look at all these things, to look at all these items comprehensively. So, as we have had issues just recently with an acquisition disposition opportunity where we had an adjacent enforcement and compliance piece, and then now today we're talking about the property on 2nd Avenue, and should we sell that one or, hold that for something else? I just think that bringing those different pieces together into a real estate committee, I think, is going to serve us a whole lot better.
Yeah, and this is a good time. Back in the day when we were doing 10, 15 dispositions, the A and B was very busy. But now we just have a few properties, rolling it in with enforcement, and the other one makes sense.
Yeah, I think as we continue to improve process here, we'll ensure an efficient use of your time. And I think even if we, instead of meeting for half an hour, met for 45 minutes, for example, we could accomplish just as much in those three areas than just trying to convene 3 different committee meetings to do the same. So let me know if you have any thoughts on that. But the governance committee will talk about it. But if the governance committee recommends it, it'll come back to the full board because we'll have to amend the bylaws to do that.
That works for me. Sean, unfortunately, I won't be able to join enforcement, but I did want to put on the record, and hopefully you can put it on the record for the meeting, that the enforcement item for Westerlo C, my name is spelled wrong. And then an update is I did reach out to her, and she said she was going to contact someone at the land bank, and I haven't followed up, so I don't know if that has happened or not.
Is that in the minutes?
Yep, on letter C. So my name is spelled incorrectly, and then it said that I was gonna reach out to her, which I did, and she had the information. She said she was gonna reach out, but if that hasn't happened, if someone could let me know, then I'll just follow up with her.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I already caught the misspelling on your name, so that was already corrected. Just not in the pack. I caught that when the packet was out. So,
Thank you.
All right, I'll take a note of that. Thank you. All right, without anything else, this committee is adjourned at 3:25. Next meeting is enforcement and compliance at 3:30. We'll end the live stream, and you're welcome to